So what can we learn from laughing when we're in a narcissistic relationship? So it's an interesting lesson. A friend was recently telling me about her uniquely toxic family group chat. One family member in particular likes to post lots of baiting stuff, political stuff, and it's often targeted at her. She knows he very much meets a lot of the patterns that qualify for vulnerable narcissism and has for a long time. She gets it. She's gotten it for a long time and was really just staying on the group text to share family photos and updates and that kind of thing. But she'd finally had it. She told the folks that she liked that she liked in the family that they were welcome to message her one-on-one, and then she left the group chat. She was like, enough is enough. Now, in the final series of messages that this baiting family member posted, it was so clear that he was looking for a fight. He was almost craving it. It was like he needed it. And she said in the past, she'd fallen for his baiting 1,000 times. But because of some changes in her life, she no longer was. But he just clearly wanted to get into it with her. It was a competitiveness, maybe a jealousy. And she said for the first time, she just started laughing. Not the laughter of madness, but just laughing, like it was funny and so sadly clear what he was doing. She wasn't sad or angry, maybe like a dog that always does the same little trick. It was funny. It was just funny to her. But unlike that funny little pup, she no longer had the time and the bandwidth. So she just shut it down, and her laughter said, oh, this is just silly. I don't have the time for this. When we were talking about it, she asked me, she said, could this laughter be a sign of radical acceptance, of really finally getting it? Or was it just a sign that she had lost her mind? I thought about it, and she said for the first time that she started laughing, she wasn't sad, she wasn't angry, she wasn't surprised, she wasn't disappointed, she wasn't frustrated. She said as she looked at his baiting text, it just became funny. It no longer felt personal, it just felt absurd. And just like we may laugh at anything ridiculous, she said that's why I was laughing, because it was ridiculous. I told her that it seemed like a high, maybe even the highest level of radical acceptance, because she was no longer feeling acute distress. Any distress at all. She wasn't angry in any of those negative emotions. And she gave herself permission to cut out of the group chat, even though the other family members thought it wasn't necessary. And she reached out to the family members she liked and said, listen, I am happy to stay in touch with you. But that silliness, that nonsense, it's just not worth it to me. And she didn't succumb to her family's pressure to rejoin the group chat. That, folks, is definitely radical acceptance. The wounds of family narcissistic abuse go deep, not just with parents, but also with siblings. They are often a reminder of barriers that we may still be struggling with in our lives. Not feeling like we're enough, a sense of social anxiety, trauma responses like fawning, and the recognition of how these kinds of responses have affected us, and not always well, in our adult lives. And that reminder that is so icky that families aren't always safe places to land, but rather these antagonistic, risky places where you always have to keep your wits about you and remain hypervigilant, and still being hurt by the selfishness and the triangulation and the gaslighting. So even when we know the nonsense on the family group chat or at the holiday dinner or at the cousin's wedding is gonna come up, because it always does, we often don't laugh. Now remember, the goal with radical acceptance is to get to the place where you are no longer shocked or surprised, but you may feel sad or disappointed or other negative emotions. In this friend's case, she had some major shifts in her life that had taken priority, and she was more than willing to engage with her other family members, but not this one, because it's always the same with him. And when that baiting, vulnerably narcissistic family member just kept going at it and kept going at it, and she knew exactly what the catalyst was for him behaving like that. So when that family member started doing that nonsense on the group chat, my friend was already prepared. And like clockwork, when his nonsense started in the group text, she acknowledges that knowing that this person's wacky group chat word salad were inevitable on the basis of some news event that had happened in the world, when it happened, it was so clockwork, she said, I couldn't help but laugh. Got to tell you, it's not a response I hear about often. Most people don't laugh when the ick, when the baiting, when the all-around awfulness happens. But it may represent a permanent sort of getting it. You laugh at the irony, at the predictability, at the you've got to be kidding me. And then, just like that, one day, it's funny. One place that I have seen this happen, and this is good, is when the narcissistic partner who cheated on you leaves you, takes up and starts a relationship with the person that they cheated on you with, and posts all sorts of nonsense on social media, or tells your mutual friends about, oh, I'm so excited, I finally found the one. Or they have never felt this way about anyone. They told you the same thing. Or that they feel that their lives have finally begun, or that this is the love of their life. And again, they very likely said all of those things to you in the midst of their love bomb mess, right? And you were sitting in the confusion and the hurt and the aftermath of betrayal, and you go to therapy and you do the work of healing from betrayal, and then the narcissistic person cheats on the person they left you for and cheated on you with. Let me tell you a little bit about laughter. I have witnessed this stuff happen in the lives of people I know well, and laughter doesn't begin to capture it. It was tears down the face. This sorry-ass excuse of a human being only has one channel kind of laughter. It was sheer joy to watch a person who was so hurt finally get to laugh. And is it schadenfreude? Sure it is. And laugh, laugh, laugh. And to anyone watching this who is self-righteous enough to think, again, to get lost on that and die on that hill of, well, isn't that schadenfreude to laugh at someone's misery? No, it's not. It's laughing at, there they go again. And how naive of the new partner to think it wouldn't happen to them. The laughter showed that person that while the betrayal and the shit that happened in the relationship really hurt them, that they finally did get it. I was concerned that the person would say, they blew up my life just to blow up someone else's life? Nah, the person this happened to laughed deep and hard and said, I guess it is what it is. Oh, what do you know? A whole new slate of social media posts came out about a year later about this ex of theirs finding their new mature love story. And sometimes the universe sends you the right person BS. Listen, not everyone gets here to this place of laughter, but when you do, when you can laugh at the narcissistic shenanigans and their baiting and their one-page playbook and see this relationship, see them for the perpetual knock-knock joke that they are, then yeah, you are at radical acceptance. And heaven knows that you've earned the laughter. But it took a lot of tears to get here. So remember, she who laughs last, I guess, does laugh best. And when those tears of heartbreak and betrayal turn into tears of laughter, I actually think those tears taste different. Thanks again.